Overcome your fears. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle, the other as though everything is. Albert Einstein. How to overcome your fears and live courageously every day. What if I told you that courage isn't something you are born with? It's not something that only the heroes have and ordinary people don't. The truth is that we all have it within us. The only thing preventing you from living courageously every day is yourself. The following guide will show you how to overcome your fears and live courageously every day in your life. Is fear physiological or psychological? Most people experience fear at some point in their lives. Fear is a natural emotion that helps us protect ourselves from danger. It can be either physiological or psychological. Physiological fear is the result of the body's fight-or-flight response to a perceived threat. This type of fear is instinctive and outside of our control. Psychological fear, on the other hand, is a result of our thoughts and beliefs. This type of fear can be controlled by changing the way we think about things. How to overcome psychological fear. 1. Acknowledge your fear. The first step to overcoming your fear is acknowledging that it exists. When you take the time to name your fear, it loses some of its power over you. 2. Understand where your fear comes from. Once you've acknowledged your fear, try to understand where it's coming from. What experiences or beliefs have led you to feel this way? 3. Take action toward your goal. If you're feeling fearful about a big project at work, break down the steps into smaller tasks. After taking those small steps, you'll feel more confident in moving forward with your goal. Is fear an emotion or a feeling? Fear is an emotion that we feel when we are faced with something that we perceive as dangerous. It is our body's way of telling us to be careful. Fear can be a useful emotion if it motivates us to take action and stay safe. However, sometimes fear can hold us back from living our lives to the fullest. If you're feeling paralyzed by fear, recognize that fear is just a feeling, not a fact. Feelings change, they don't last forever. You can't control what happens in the future, but you can control how you respond to your feelings of fear today and take the necessary steps towards your goal, whatever that may be. When we let our fears control us, we miss out on opportunities and experiences that could be wonderful. But it is possible to overcome your fears. By facing them head-on, learn to control them and live a more courageous life. Can fear damage physically? Yes, fear can damage your physical health. When you're afraid, your body releases stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones can raise your heart rate and blood pressure, and they can also weaken your immune system. Fear can also lead to unhealthy behaviors like smoking or overeating, which can further damage your physical health. What is courage? Courage is not the absence of fear, but the ability to face it. It's being afraid and doing something anyway. It's taking risks even when you're scared. It's speaking up for what you believe in, even when you're outnumbered or outgunned. And it's standing up for yourself, even when no one else will. If you've never lived courageously before, start small with a change that only takes a few minutes. Speak your mind more often at work. Try an activity that makes you nervous like rock climbing or public speaking. Take on a new challenge at home like learning how to cook more complicated dishes. It doesn't matter where you start, because overcoming fears is about changing your mindset and habits, not just accomplishing a few small tasks. How to overcome your fears and become unstoppable. In order to be the best you can be, you need to face all of your fears and conquer them one by one. Fear is the true enemy of greatness, and if you give in to it, you'll only be hurting yourself. Here are some common fears that most people experience at one time or another, and how you can overcome them and become stronger as a result. Fear of losing money. We've all been there before. We're about to take the plunge and do something that we're really scared of. but we don't want to let our fears hold us back. After all, overcoming our fears is how we grow and become better people. Fear of losing our friends. It's natural to be afraid of losing our friends. After all, they've been a big part of our lives for so long. But sometimes, in order to grow and change, we need to let go of relationships that are no longer serving us. Fear of losing our dignity. We all have a fear of losing our dignity. For some, this may be a fear of public speaking, while for others, it may be a fear of not being able to live up to our own standards. This fear can prevent us from doing things that we really want to do, and it can hold us back in life. But it doesn't have to. Here are 5 ways to challenge yourself and overcome your fear of losing your dignity. 1. Realize that everyone makes mistakes. 2. Take responsibility for your actions and don't blame other people or external factors when something goes wrong. 3. Ask for help if you need it and don't be afraid to ask questions when you don't understand something or need guidance with a task. 4. Tell someone what you're feeling so they can help you work through your feelings or offer support when needed. 5. Don't feel like you have to put on a show for anyone else. Be who you are and let the chips fall where they may. Fear of getting old. The fear of getting old is something that affects us all. As we age, we can't help but think about our own mortality. We worry about our health, our loved ones, and our ability to keep up with the world around us. Aging should be a happy time in life, so why do we dread it so much? I'm not sure if it's society's pressure on youth or if it's just a natural reaction to change. Either way, aging should be embraced instead of feared. It was only recently that I began taking pride in my wrinkles and feeling relieved when my hair starts graying. I'm only in my 20s. It sounds silly, but I feel like the more I get older, the more confident I am. Fear of being ignored. It's natural to want to be accepted and feel like you belong, but what happens when you're afraid of being ignored? This fear can manifest itself in many ways, such as feeling like you're not good enough or that you don't have anything valuable to say. If this is something you struggle with, know that you're not alone. Here are some tips for overcoming the fear of being ignored. Find your niche. Figure out what it is about yourself that you find unique and focus on those things when interacting with others. Work on your self-esteem by surrounding yourself with people who love and accept you for who you are. Take a break from social media if it's contributing to your fears. Engage in conversation more often than scrolling through social media. Fear of speaking in public. Most people are afraid of speaking in public, and for good reason. It's nerve-wracking to get up in front of a group of people and try to deliver a message. But there are ways to overcome this fear. First, it's important to understand why you're afraid. Is it because you're worried about what others will think of you? Or is it because you're afraid of making a mistake? Once you know what your fears are, you can start to address them. What are you waiting for? Sometimes, it feels like we're just waiting for something to happen. We wait for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect circumstances. But what we don't realize is that often, these things never come. And even if they do, we may not be ready for them. So instead of waiting, why not take action?